Hello, dears. How are you? We, the humans, we have to live a very careful life for the reason that there are plenty of bad things around us as well, although there are good things as well. And there is quite a lot of probability that we will catch something bad, adopt it as a habit, and it becomes an addiction. Addiction of any type that is not good at all. Not good at all. Addiction does not allow us to lead a normal life at all. There are several types of it, plenty of it. We have taken one out of all that, which is spreading, which has spread like a wildfire, and that is the addiction of pornography. Pornography, although the people of all ages can get addicted to it, but usually younger folks, they are much more vulnerable in this respect. Maybe certain areas and countries in the world, certain societies in the world, maybe they are more prone to, their youth are more prone to become addicted to it than certain other countries. But we don't need to go into that. One thing, that it is very common. For that reason, I think that we need to do something about all that. Keeping in view this, we have made it a topic of our discussion about what the pornography does to our lives. How can we get addicted to it? How can we come out of that addiction? What are the different aspects of it? So let's begin. First of all, we need to have a technical definition of the pornography. Porn addiction. Porn addiction. Porn addiction, also known as pornography addiction, or compulsive sexual behavior, is a pattern of behavior characterized by excessive and compulsive use of pornography. A pattern of behavior characterized by excessive and compulsive use of pornography, despite negative consequences or harm to oneself or others. Despite negative consequences or harm to oneself or others. So that is porn addiction. So in the coming next few minutes, we will be taking the different aspects of it. First of all, we are going to talk about what are the signs of, what are the syndromes of porn addiction. So there are 5. Number 1, it is compulsive behavior, feeling an overwhelming urge to watch pornography, even if it interferes with daily life. Compulsive behavior. Feeling an overwhelming urge to watch pornography, even if it interferes with daily life. So that is the first sign and syndrome. The second is less of control, difficulty stopping are reducing pornography use despite attempts to do it. It is less of control. Difficulty stopping or reducing pornography use despite attempts to do so. Mean we are unable to control ourselves. We want to get rid of it, we want to reduce it, but are unable to do that. So that is the second sign and syndrome of being a porn addict person. Now the third is neglect of responsibilities. The third is neglect of responsibilities, neglecting work, neglecting relationships or other important responsibilities due to pornography use. Neglect of responsibilities, neglecting work and neglecting relationships or other important responsibilities due to pornography use. So that is the third sign and syndrome of being a porn addict person. The fourth sign and syndrome is that continued use despite harm. Continued use despite harm. It is that continuing to use pornography despite physical, emotional or relationship problems. Continued use despite harm, continuing to use pornography despite physical, emotional or relationship problems. The fifth and the last sign and syndrome of being a porn addict is secrecy and hiding. Hiding pornography use from others, feeling ashamed or guilty. Hiding it from others, that is feeling ashamed or guilty. So these are the 5 signs and syndromes of being a porn addict person. Moving to the next step of it, we are going to talk about the causes and the risk factors of being a porn addict person. So there are 4 possible causes, 4 possible risk factors. Number 1 is easy access, widespread availability of pornography on the internet. So that is one cause and that is one risk factor. The second is trauma or stress. It is using pornography as a coping mechanism for trauma, for stress or emotional pain. Trauma or stress, using pornography as a coping mechanism for trauma, for stress or for emotional pain. Now the third possible cause or the risk factor is mental health issues. Underlying mental health conditions such as depression, such as anxiety, such as ADHD. So that is the third possible cause or a risk factor. The fourth possible cause or the fourth possible risk factor is that is relationship issues. Difficulty in intimate relationships or feeling of loneliness. Relationship issue, that is difficulty in intimate relationships or feelings of loneliness. So dear friends, we talked about what is exactly the porn addiction, what are the signs and the syndromes of it, what are the causes and the risk factors of the porn addiction. Now we are going to talk about effects on mental and physical health. We are going to talk about what are the effects of porn addiction on our mental health, on our physical health. So there are 4 dangers. Number 1, it is about the mental health. Depression, anxiety, guilt, shame and low self-esteem. So these are number one. A person who has become a porn addict might go into the depression, might go into the anxiety, might start feeling guilt, might start feeling shame, and might start feeling low self-esteem. Now the second negative effect, that is relationship problems. Relationship problems, strained relationships, intimacy issues, and feelings of isolation. It is the relationship problems, strained relationships, and intimacy issues, and feelings of isolation. So that is the second highly negative impact upon our mental and physical health. Now the third is physical health, sleep disturbances, erectile dysfunction, and decreased libido. Now the third important negative effect of porn watching is that porn addiction is about the physical health. It is sleep disturbances. Once a person is unable to sleep properly, then lot of difficulties and troubles relating to the physical health will arise, and that is erectile dysfunction and decreased libido. Now the fourth and the last highly negative impact upon our physical health is that is neuroplasticity. It is about the mental health. Neuroplasticity, changes in brain structure and function. Changes in the brain structure and function, particularly in regions related to reward, motivation, and impulse control. Neuroplasticity, changes in the brain structure and its function, particularly in the regions related to reward, related to the motivation, and impulse, related to the impulse control. Now, finally, we are going to talk about recovery and treatment. Recovery and treatment, that is the final and the last step about porn watching, porn addiction. There are four steps to be taken. The step number one is seek professional help. Consult a therapist, consult a counselor, or consult a psychologist. So that is the important one, very important one. Number two, it is sport group. Sport groups, join a sport group such as sex addiction anonymous, such as sex and love of addicts, such as anonymous, SLAA. So these are actually, and plenty of others as well. Sport group available online, and there will be plenty of it once you try to find it. Being a part of that, because they will help us a lot. They are helping each other. A kind of motivation is being provided over there. Now the third way to recover from the porn addiction, it is cognitive behavior therapy, CBT, a helpful approach in addressing underlying issues and developing coping strategies. It is the third one. Third one is that is obviously we have to go to a therapist. That is cognitive behavior therapy, CBT, a helpful approach in addressing underlying issues and developing coping strategies. Now the fourth and the last way, that is mindfulness and self-care. Practice mindfulness, practice self-compassion, and practice self-care to manage stress and emotions. Yes, mindfulness and self-care. Mindfulness means not to live in the past despite the fact there are plenty of regrets, but do not dwell in the past. Learn whatever you can, then let it go. Then do not worry about the future. Plan and prepare a little bit, let it go. Focus and concentrate upon the present moment. That is called mindfulness. And also we need to practice self-care. Practice mindfulness, practice self-compassion, mean being kind-hearted, being loving, being caring about ourselves, and care to manage stress and emotions. So that is all about porn addiction, and we talked about exactly what the porn addiction is. We talked about what are the signs and syndromes of those people who are the porn addict, and then obviously we spoke about the possible causes, the possible risk factor. Now thirdly, we spoke about effects of the porn addiction upon our mental health, upon our physical health. Fourth and the last, we talked about recovery and treatment, four important ways to get ourselves recovered from this porn addiction. So that is something, a highly important talk, particularly for the younger folks, particularly those younger folks living in the societies like that of Pakistan and other. So that is all from me today. Thank you very much.